Hi, Misha here, and we've talked about quite a few TIE fighters already. Ones from the original series, and the ones from The Force Awakens, the TIE FO, and the TIE SF. Now let's talk about two more. One from The Last Jedi, and the one from Rise of Skywalker. And actually we're going to do these reverse, because of the roles they fill. Here we have the TIE DG, the TIE Dagger. This was designed to be a mass-produced standard frontline starfighter, dogfighter, and kind of replacing the TIE Fighter, the TIE LN, and the TIE FO. Sometimes it's also called the Sith TIE Fighter. These are primarily launched from Star Destroyers. And they have two medium laser cannons here on the ball. But additionally, they have heavy laser on each of the wings here. And these can actually pivot a small amount. They can gimbal a bit for their targets too. And quite famously, the original TIE did not have shielding. This does have shielding, but it does not have hyperdrive, and I'm not sure if it has sensors. I'm not sure if it has life support. I would imagine it does have sensors. They also tried to make things a little easier for the pilot. They gave a larger, less framed viewport here. And they gave more instinctual controls and a better arranged flight system versus the original TIE. So it was a marginal improvement all around. Heavy laser cannons added, shielding added, better control for the pilot. But this was still meant to be cheap and easy to mass produce. And we saw these in 35 ABY at the Battle of Exegol. They're about 9.5 meters long and about 7.62 meters tall. They have a maximum speed in atmosphere of about 1,350 kph, so a little faster than the older TIE Fighter. And yeah, that's about all we know. Not a whole lot. This model or toy or whatever is from Hot Wheels. I don't think they're doing the Black Series titaniums anymore. And now we come to the TIE VN. This is a true space superiority fighter, an advanced fighter, also known as the TIE Vendetta, or the TIE Silencer, or just Kylo Ren's TIE Fighter. We see this in The Last Jedi. And it bears a striking resemblance to the TIE Interceptor, at least in the wings. And the fuselage has a lot in common with the TIE X1, the TIE Advanced of Vader's time. And that's kind of what this is. Much like where the TIE Advanced was a kind of prototype or pre-production model with advanced features for Vader, this was a advanced model for Kylo Ren. So what do we have here? Well, we have 4 medium laser cannons. We have 2 heavy laser cannons. And we have 2 ordnance launchers. And the launchers can either fire mag pulses, concussion missiles, proton torpedoes. Pretty versatile. On top of this, we have 2 main sensors in the wings. Plus, we have 4 targeting arrays for the various weapons. We have kind of an open framed canopy again for a better field of view. This has shielding. This does have life support. It also has enough consumables for 5 days, so for at least medium long range missions. And it does have a hyperdrive, although we don't know which class it is. The TIE Advanced that the Empire flew was class 4, so we can safely assume it's at least better than that. One other thing this had was some stealth capabilities. Not exactly a cloak, but it had, silent running, as it were. The engine was, physically silent, but it also had sensor jamming and all that, too. And the idea was, let the TIE FOs and the TIE SFs kind of be the standard, and this would be given to special elite frontline pilots. It's often said that this was a one-off for Kylo Ren. Not really, although I'm sure it was customized. There were plans to mass produce these. It's just it was getting started. This was kind of based on the TIE Defender program from the Empire. And prototypes were ready by about 33 ABY, and we see Kylo Ren flying this, and 34 ABY after the route at Dakar. And it seems to be a rather capable spacecraft, quite advanced. It would have been far too expensive to produce it for the rank and file, though. It's quite a bit longer, at nearly 17.5 meters. Although height-wise, it's about the same at about 7.6. So longer, but of course, a lot of that has to do with the wings. Although it does have more going on in the body. Makes sense for what it is. These are still being produced, at least by the successor to Cinar Fleet Systems, the same ones who made the TIE Fighter. They kind of took over from Kuwat when they went from fighters to capital ships. And again, these are new ships from the sequel trilogy. And much as I've said before, the Rise of Skywalker, this is a better one. It's certainly a better effort than their Star Destroyer, which is lame. I mean, they basically just took a TIE Fighter, reshaped the ball a bit, and stuck different shaped wings on it. It's okay. It's something. But, as I've said in many videos, I say true about the Last Jedi, the craft, the models in it are more interesting. If this had just a standard TIE Fighter section here, it would just be like a TIE Interceptor, really. But because they went to this very different body and viewing port, cockpit window, it has a different look, and just a little more interesting, even with the coloration. So what do you think? Again, these are both from Hot Wheels, just because that's about the only ones making these now. This one, the outer wings, metal. The body, metal. These, plastic. Still has pretty good weight to it, though. Comes on its regular stand. I do wish the little things here rotated a bit. But there's not a lot of moving parts on the Hot Wheels. That's okay. It's pretty good size, too, for what it is. For a little $4 thing. I do like how firmly these do pop into their stands. I don't like that they have the screw holes, but that's just part of the line. And this one here, You have the body again being metal. And actually the center part of the wings, the solar collectors here, is also metal. But then you get up here, and these are plastic. And that's why mine over here, this one is a little wonky, but I've read that other people have said, I think it's just how it sits in the package. They're pretty flexible. You can do that. My TIE Defender's that way too, and it's even from the old titanium series. It's just this kind of polymer plastic they use. But you can heat it up and bend it back. It'll be alright. Better to have it that than something that's going to be brittle and breaking. I mean, in a perfect world, these would be all metal, but again, for a $4 thing. Seems like these days, though, you can find the commemorative one in silver. Finding the one here in the original black coloration is not as easy. Or they haven't released a batch of them in a while. Of course, it too has the regular stand. It's kind of hard to get in there to pop it off because you got to get around so much. Maybe. There you go. See, it's hard to get it because you can't. The wings are in your way. There it is, though. A couple of. Well, there's the port. The screws are. There's one back there, front and back. They're not as bad as others. At least they're on the bottom. There's also one on the inner side of the wing here. But, like I said, that's the metal part. And this one really is a good size. It's basically